The night lights of Pattaya painted the sea in a dream of pink and blue. Every bar on Soi 6 was a living, breathing thing, screaming for attention. The music thumped against your chest, girls called out from every doorway, and bottles clinked in a never-ending toast to the night. It was chaos, a beautiful, swirling storm of neon and desire. And in the middle of it all, one person moved like she belonged to another world entirely. Her name was Nadia. She was tall, impossibly elegant, with sharp cheekbones that could cut glass and eyes that held your gaze just a little too long. Nadia had mastered the art of survival in a city that ate dreams for breakfast. She hadn't always been this way. Once, she was a girl from a dusty village in Isan, where the rice fields burned gold under the sun and people laughed with their whole bodies. But dreams didn't grow in those fields, at least not the kind she had. So she packed her hopes into a small bag, took a long bus ride south, and became what she always felt she was. A woman, even if the world insisted on calling her something else. Now, she was one of Pattaya, most wanted. A ladyboy whose charm and danger were mixed into a perfect, intoxicating cocktail. But behind that dazzling smile was a storm that hadn't quite passed. A storm named Mark. 2 years ago, he'd walked into her life. A 40-something Englishman with a sunburned nose and a heart seemingly full of promises. He whispered all the right things, words she'd longed to hear. "You're not like the others," he'd say. "You're special." And the one that broke her resolve. "I'll take you to London." She believed him. More than that, she loved him. For 6 intoxicating months, he was her world. He shared her condo, her money, her bed. He became a part of her routine, her future. Then, one morning, he was gone. The room was hollow, the air still holding the ghost of his presence. Her bank account was drained. The landlord was banging on her door, demanding rent she no longer had. He left her with nothing, not even the dignity of her own name. For weeks, she cried, the kind of soul-shattering sobs that leave you empty. And then, one day, she just stopped. Because in Pattaya, you learn quickly that pain is a luxury you can't afford. It always finds a new mask to hide behind. One humid night, a year later, she saw him. The same man, the same confident swagger, a different girl. Mark was sitting at a bar near Beach Road, laughing too loudly, his arm wrapped around a fresh-faced 22-year-old bar girl who looked at him like he was the sun. Nadia stood across the street, the cherry of her cigarette glowing in the dark, her heart pounding a frantic rhythm against her ribs. He didn't recognize her. That was fine. He would. She began her transformation. She became a ghost of her former self. The flashy sequins were replaced with simple, elegant dresses. The stage makeup was gone, swapped for soft lipstick and eyes that held a quiet calm. She cut her hair, dyeing it jet black and wearing it straight, and she shed her old name. Nadia was gone. Now, there was only Nat. The first night she approached him, he didn't even blink. He just gave her that same smile every other tourist did. "Hey there, beautiful. What's your name?" "Nat," she said, her voice a soft murmur. "You come here often?" he asked, a lazy grin on his face. He bought her a drink. He talked about football, about money, and then he said the words that sealed his fate. He talked about those crazy ladyboys that rob you blind. She just smiled, raised her glass in a silent toast, and said, "Yeah, you have to be careful who you trust." For weeks, she became his perfect shadow. They met for drinks, for dinners, for short trips out of the city. She played it slow, never too eager, a quiet presence he found comforting. She studied his habits, his routines. She learned his passwords, his card numbers, the little details he let slip when he was drunk and bragging. He loved to brag, and when he'd fall into a deep, drunken sleep, she'd carefully scroll through his phone, his notes, his banking apps, his photos. Every detail was a piece of the puzzle, and she stored it away carefully. He thought he had found the perfect, unassuming Thai woman. She knew she was on the verge of finding her justice. One night they sat at the glass house, the waves whispering secrets to the shore behind them. Mark reached across the table and took her hand. "Nat," he said, his eyes full of a sincerity he'd perfected, "I think I love you." She looked right back into those eyes, the very same eyes that had once promised her a new life in London, and she felt a profound, chilling calm. "Really?" she asked. "Then let's go somewhere quiet. Just us." They drove south, past Yomtien, down a narrow, winding road that led to a hidden beach. The air smelled of salt and the coming rain. He parked the car by the water's edge, the distant city lights just a faint glimmer on the horizon. He leaned in close, that familiar, confident smile playing on his lips. "So, what do you want to do now, baby?" She slipped off her heels, her bare feet sinking into the cool sand. She turned to face him, the moonlight carving her features into something ethereal and dangerous. Her voice, when she spoke, was soft, but it cut through the night air like a blade. "Do you remember Nadia?" He blinked, his brow furrowing in confusion. "Nadia? No, should I?" A smile touched her lips, but it held no warmth. "You should. You lived with her. You stole from her. You left her with nothing but debts and a broken heart." The recognition dawned on his face, followed by a wave of pure shock. The color drained from his skin. "Nadia? That was you?" She gave a single, slow nod. "It was." He stumbled back a step. "Listen, I didn't mean to. Things just got complicated." "Stop." She held up a hand, silencing him. "You lied. You used me. You thought I'd just break and disappear. But I learned something here in Pattaya, Mark. Ghosts don't disappear. They just wait." He tried to speak again to offer some pathetic excuse, but she cut him off. "I already took back what you owed me." His eyes widened. "What do you mean?" Her smile was faint, almost a memory. "Your card. Your phone. Your bank." He instinctively reached for his pocket, only to find it empty. She continued, "And I gave your passport to a friend who is very good at selling things that aren't theirs. By now, it's probably on its way to Malaysia." He stared at her, his face a mask of pure panic. "You can't do this." "I already did," she said simply. For a long, stretched-out moment, the only sound was the gentle crash of the waves against the shore. Then she leaned in and whispered, "You took my dignity. I just took my balance." With that, she turned. Heels in one hand, she walked away along the moonlit shore, never once looking back. He shouted her name, then his voice cracked as he screamed for help, but there was no one to hear him, just the ocean and the night. By morning, Mark was gone. Some say he managed to catch a bus to Bangkok, broke and defeated. Others whisper that he never left that lonely beach. Nadia, or Nat, didn't care either way. She returned to Soi 6. To the same neon lights, the same heavy perfume in the air, the same thumping music. But something was different. She walked lighter now. The storm inside her had finally passed. When a new tourist would lean in, charmed by her smile, and ask her name, she'd take a slow sip of her cocktail, look him dead in the eye, and say, "Call me Karma." And in that smile was a truth every man in Pattaya should know. Sooner or later, karma always finds you. Thanks for watching. If you enjoyed this story, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe for more tales from the shadows. We'll see you in the next one.